Are these perfect? No, not quite. But are they good? Yeah, they're very, very good. These are the Asics Gel Nimbus 24, and I am going to give you all my first impressions after my first couple of runs in this video. Let's get into it. I used to pretty much exclusively run in Asics running shoes. I would normally buy either the Nimbus or the Kayano, only because I was given different advice on what my particular foot type needed. But as I began to explore that for myself, I found that I had a preference for neutral running shoes. And so I probably bought more Nimbuses in the end, just because they were better for me. But after a while, I found myself getting bored of buying what effectively felt like the same running shoe. There were very mild updates year after year, and more to the point, it didn't really feel like it was changing or evolving. And if anything, it felt like it was just falling more and more behind in the times. I wanted to try out new running shoes, and when I explored a new world of different foams and uppers, I didn't go back to Asics for a while. And then Asics released the Nova Blast, and while that shoe wasn't completely right for me, I really liked the direction that Asics was going. Then I got into the Gel Noosa Tri 13, which is a shoe I absolutely loved and have tried a bunch of other shoes since. Anyway, it was time to get back onto the Nimbus bandwagon. It looks completely different to the last version of the Nimbus that I ran in, which I think was like the 21 or something like that, maybe the 22. There isn't a hefty amount of overlays on the upper, and the midsole has been swapped out for a Flight Foam Blast midsole. This is the first time I've seen Flight Foam Blast in one of their more traditional running shoes. Even the latest Kayano doesn't get the Flight Foam Blast treatment in the midsole. So I was really interested in seeing how the Nimbus has evolved from the, albeit older models that I was used to running in. And I mean, it's no secret, I really love this shoe. I've been on 2 runs, a little over 20 Ks, and it's a shoe that I will find myself continuing to reach for on days that I want something that can do a little bit of everything. Before I start talking about what I've loved with the shoe and the thing that I don't really love about it, let's go over some stats. And the Gel Nimbus 24 is a max cushioned neutral running shoe with an engineered mesh upper sitting on top of a Flight Foam Blast midsole. There is gel in the heel and also in the forefoot, a 36mm heel stack and a 26mm forefoot stack, giving a 10mm drop. It is true to size, and it comes in at 10.2 ounces or 290 grams for a US men's size 9. If you're interested, my US men's 13 comes in at 358 grams, which I think is pretty reasonable for a shoe that is max cushioned. Each of the elements in the shoe are put together really nicely. All of the materials feel really nice on foot, and that becomes immediately apparent as soon as you put this shoe on. The mesh itself feels really nice, feels plush, and it also feels really breathable. The tongue itself is another feature that I love about the shoe. It is gusseted on both sides of the eye stays. Well, I guess it's a fully gusseted tongue. But what I love the most about it is that it's lightly padded, so it doesn't necessarily carry a lot of weight, but it's super comfortable. It uses this stretchy, elasticy type of material, and I am just here for it. The padding around the heel feels really great. It's not super overdone, but what is in the heel collar is really nice and feels good on foot. I've said that a lot, feels good, because it does. It just feels really great on foot. The only issue with the Nimbus 24, and it's probably the only issue that I've found with it so far, is the fit. It is true to size. I wouldn't recommend sizing down or sizing up, but there is a bit of a narrow fit through the midfoot towards the forefoot. It's not uncomfortable to the extent that I wouldn't recommend the shoe, and it's definitely not a restrictive fit like we saw in the Pegasus 37. The upper does a good job of alleviating any pressure around that area, but I really think for a max cushion running shoe, it would have benefited from having a slightly more roomier fit through that area of the shoe, that forefoot or midfoot and forefoot area. There is a bunch of rubber underfoot, but doesn't cover the entire length of the outsole, and that's fine. It's AHA Plus compound, which is meant to be, you know, durable and has a lot of traction. But the good thing about having the rubber in the high impact areas in the pattern that the Nimbus has it is that it tries to reduce weight by not having coverage in areas where it won't provide as much of a benefit, but still gives enough rubber coverage that durability should be taken care of for a while at least. But for me, the real hero in this package is the midsole setup. The Flight Foam Blast in the Nimbus 24 is not like the Flight Foam Blast in the Nova Blast, and it's not like the Flight Foam Blast in the Asics Magic Speed. It's not as soft and squishy as the Nova Blast, and it's not as firm as the Magic Speed. This is somewhere in between, but a perfect mix of cushioned responsiveness. It also doesn't feel like a shoe with a hefty stack underfoot, even though the stats suggest there is 36mm in the heel. It feels quite nimble and responsive, but it also feels cushioned that it will give you comfort mile after mile. For that reason, I think this shoe is incredibly versatile. I've run in it at varying paces, and I found it to be comfortable right across the board. I'd almost even classify this as a daily trainer that is highly cushioned. It's a fantastic option if you are looking for a running shoe that can do a little bit of everything, but you have a particular focus on comfort. All of this is paired to an aesthetic that, in my opinion, looks really nice as well. It's kind of got a slick look through that forefoot and midfoot area, and it doesn't look overly bulky like some other max cushion shoes tend to look. It is a shoe I wouldn't have any hesitation in recommending at this point in time. I think this is probably one of the best offerings from Asics in recent years. That isn't a super shoe at least, but I haven't tried those to comment. I'm really interested to know what you guys think if you've run in the Gel Nimbus 24, and especially how you think it compares to the older versions, because for me, this is the evolution of the Nimbus that I was waiting for. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, but until the next video, laters.